Hey guys, Joe here, and today I want to talk about Apple without Steve Jobs versus with Steve Jobs, and my thoughts on it. This is just a little rant video. Not really a rant because I'm not mad at anything, but just me talking. Okay, anyway, Steve Jobs, he died on October 5th, 2011, and Steve Jobs was the CEO of Apple. Hey, he founded Apple, so he was the CEO from the start. He got fired in the 80s, and then they brought him back in the 90s. And from then until his death, he was CEO of Apple. When he died, Tim Cook took over as the CEO of Apple. I just want to say, Steve Jobs was excellent at giving keynotes, in my opinion. I think he was phenomenal. He's interactive with the audience. He's not shy about being on stage and talking to all these people. He's very thorough in his demonstrations, and he's actually enjoying what he's doing, and that shows on the stage. So I think he did great as giving keynotes, and for the most part as a CEO as well. When Tim Cook took over, so October 5th, 2011, was Steve Jobs' death. Later in October was the 2011 Apple keynote. So Tim Cook had to be brought in days to weeks after Steve Jobs died to fill in his position and try to fill his shoes. And I think that's why his first keynote was really rickety and it was kind of shaky, and it was not even close to what Steve Jobs would have done. I think that plays into it. Just the nervousness of how am I going to be able to replace Steve Jobs? How am I going to fill in his shoes? I think he was a little more comfortable in the 2012 keynote. That was the second one. And his third one this year, he was great. He's near Jobs quality now. Steve Jobs is now the measurement for how good you give a presentation. It's either Jobs, below, or above. Nobody can ever reach above. Anyway, so I think he's going to get better and better as time progresses. Now, let's back up in time a little bit to the 80s when Steve Jobs got fired. Why did he get fired? He wanted to do all this stuff, and the executive board did not like it. So they fired him. And at the time, he brought in a guy from Pepsi to help him. So they made him the only CEO because they liked his ideas, not Steve's. So he went on to founded Next Computers and all that. Next, look it up if you're interested, but it's not around anymore. They didn't like... Okay, so the Pepsi guy was the CEO. He made some decisions which is the major cause in the 80s for Windows to skyrocket in popularity. Because prior to that, Mac was way ahead. And because of a lot of stuff he did, Mac fell way behind, and then Windows shot up in popularity. And Windows is still there today. Not to say that it's still because of that, because a lot of people have computers now that didn't even have them in the 80s, let alone would they care about, let alone would they have been affected by what that guy did. But I'm just the point is that Apple never fully recovered from that. I don't even think they've made a start to recover in popularity from what happened there. So when Jobs was brought back, they got rid of the Pepsi guy. Jobs reinstated his stuff. He discontinued all the stuff that this guy did that he didn't like, and he made Apple what it is today until his death. And then Tim Cook took over. Now, what do I see for Apple in the future? Well, they've been doing pretty well with Tim Cook for the past nearly 2 years. But I don't know how long that will last. In the 80s, Apple did not do well because Jobs was gone. He was gone because he was fired because they didn't like his ideas. Excuse me. This time, he's gone because he died. Not because they didn't like his ideas. They loved his ideas this time. So, his ideas are going to kind of carry on with Tim, I think. They're going to carry on with Tim a little bit. They are still now, a little bit. As time goes on, which it's starting to do this now, it's going to fade away. And Jobs will be, his ideas won't be in Apple anymore. And I think that's when Apple might start to do even poorer. They're not doing horrible now, but I think that's when they're going to start doing pretty poorly, because Jobs won't be there to give his ideas anymore. So, thanks for checking out this video, guys. Subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this little rant. If you got any questions for me, leave them in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. And don't forget, new video every Tuesday and Friday. That's my schedule as it stands right now. So, everybody, I will see you Tuesday. Steve Jobs, rest in peace.